TRT World Editor-at-Large Ahmed Aliolu here in the studio. Ahmed, the report says coalition airstrikes have caused the most civilian casualties. It's harrowing reading. They've hit residential areas, markets, funerals, weddings, and even medical centres. What else did the report conclude?
Well, the most important part is who is accountable for that. Everybody who is involved in this war doesn't have any clean hands. Everybody is accountable. Everybody has committed war crimes, crimes that mounted to war crimes, as the report stated. The most important thing is how you identify accountability and how you will serve justice. It's not clear because, as the spokesman just spoke and said, that most of the warring parties are not part or members of the ICC, the International Criminal Court, and that would make it very difficult for them to be held accountable. Now, that would lead to the second question: if everybody is committing war crimes, how this is going to end? Because this is a kind of the most or the worst humanitarian crisis that is striking one of the poorest countries, already one of the poorest countries, and the people are still suffering. They need a kind of a solution to what's going on.
It's quite often referred to as the forgotten crisis, isn't it? Of course, the coalition has been supported by various Western nations, and the panel did actually comment on that. Let's take a listen.
In paragraph 18 of the report, you will find that we do in fact mention that the United States and the United Kingdom, among other states, advise and support the coalition. We have not directly examined the roles of other states because we consider that that is more in the ambit of the committee established by the United Nations looking at weapons and other matters. However, clearly, the complete role of other states in the conflict is important and should not be forgotten.
Okay, Ahmed, so he talks about that the role of these other nations shouldn't be forgotten. What did you make of what he had to say?
Well, in 2017, General Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, the United States Secretary of Defense, said that asked the Senate not to stop or restrict the United States supplies or military support to the Saudi-led coalition. And he said that the main idea is to bring the warring parties to negotiating table. Now, what's going on, if you remember back in 2016, at the time of the Obama, the deal was a $115 billion military deal between the United States and Saudi Arabia. At that time, it was stopped after the Saudi-led coalition attacked a funeral hall, killing at least 150 civilians. At that time, it was stopped and reinstated at the time of Rex Tillerson when Donald Trump administration was inaugurated. Now, that would give a big question. How would this Western powers go ahead, including the United Kingdom, with supporting these kind of strikes? It's a kind of war crimes, and they still unequivocally supporting the Saudi Arabia-led coalition without any clear indication that how this is going to end. On the other hand, you have Iran supporting its proxy, the Houthi rebels inside Yemen, because you know the recent imminent sanctions on Iran. They do need a kind of powers on the Red Sea to threaten the international powers that we do have an arm there that can affect or harm your interest in the region. If you go ahead with your sanctions, that was clear when they attacked, the Houthi attacked the oil tankers of the Saudi Arabia and tried to close the Bab el-Mandeb Strait on the Red Sea. So you do have these kind of international powers fighting with their proxies on the ground, where the Saudis is still unequivocally, adamantly insisting that we need to take Yemen and take the Houthis down.
A proxy war apparently with no consequences. Thank you so much for that. That's Ahmed Aliolu.